Hello, my name is Samuel Acosta.
Hi, my name is Natalia Flores.
Welcome back to another episode of Gov 101. Today we have
Thomas Fink, Presiding Judge of the Santa Cruz County Superior Court.
Okay, thank you so much. Today, our podcast is here to educate the public on what each head of department does and what every kind of department does in the county. So, you will be giving us a description about your role, some background, and how you got to this position.
All right, well, my position is Presiding Judge of the Santa Cruz County Superior Court. So I'm actually an employee of the state of Arizona out of Santa Cruz County because the judicial system is set up by the state Supreme Court. I'm a judge. I have full judge's duties. I hear all kinds of cases that come through the Superior Court: juvenile, criminal, civil, guardianships, some criminal cases still. And as every county in the state has a presiding judge, there's 15 counties, they have a presiding judge. The presiding judge has administrative authority over all the courts in the county. So I'm a judge, but I wear two hats. It's an administrative position as well. It's a delegation from the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to be his or her representative in the county for administrative purposes. So that's my position. I've been here as judge since 2014. I'm originally not from here. I'm originally from the Chicago area, and I went to University of Michigan undergraduate, Northwestern University School of Law. Then I went into the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and I was there for 4 years, federal prosecutor for 4 years from the Justice Department in Washington, and then went to the Office of the U.S. Attorney in Arizona. I was there for 14 years, and when I was in the Justice Department, they were sending me all around the country to handle different types of cases, and I came out late in my career to Tucson and just really fell in love with the Southwest. So that's when I went to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Arizona, even though I'm from Chicago. That was way back in like 1990, 1991, and I just fell in love with Southern Arizona. And when I left the U.S. Attorney's Office, I moved down here. I own a home in the Patagonia, Sonora area, and after a certain number of years, I just decided to leave the U.S. Attorney's Office and come and work in Santa Cruz County, Arizona. Did private practice, represented people in private practice, and then this position opened up. So I got nominated by the governor and then have run in 3 contested elections and been elected 3 times. I'm serving my last term. My last term, 4-year term, will end at the end of next year, and then I'm going to retire because I'll be almost 69 years old. So yeah, old, right? That's old.
No, you don't look
look
younger.
like it.
Yeah, I know that.
Look way younger.
But that's old, right? 69 is old, right?
I feel like it's good.
Wait till you get here. Yeah, the outside looks pretty good. The inside's a complete mess. Well, it's not for this discussion, but thank you for saying that. Yeah, but that's just my basic background. That's what I do, and that's where I'll end up. And after I retire, that'll be it.
All right.
No more law.
Staying in Patagonia and Sonora.
Oh yeah, I have a beautiful place at the end of a dirt road on all sorts of acreage, and I just love it. And it's and I really like Santa Cruz County. I really, not from here, from a much different place, suburban Chicago. It's just a much different place culturally, but I just came down here and fell in love with it, and got married down here. My son and I got married down here, and hopefully stay here. Yeah.
Very nice.
Martinez takes me out in the pine box.
So,
Oh, you gonna ring the bell?
No, not yet.
Is something wrong with
No,
it?
no.
based on your description, Sam and I will be asking 10 questions.
Okay.
See who gets the most questions.
What do you
Answers.
mean? So you guess the-
So either 6 and 4 or 7 and 3, kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
To determine the winner.
Okay.
Answers should be
The winner?
around.
What do you mean the winner?
The winner
Yeah.
The winner of what?
of the game.
This is a game?
It's a game show.
Yeah.
That's a game? Oh, I don't know anything about what you're doing here.
Okay.
Coming in cold.
Pretty good. And then once you see the
Like,
video,
hit me hard, whatever you got.
All right,
I'm
perfect.
ready. I can handle it.
so we'll be doing that, and then the answers will be around 30 seconds to a minute, as long as they're informative.
Oh, okay.
But if you can extend it longer, that's okay too.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? Okay.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah. So the presiding judge, the Arizona Supreme Court system has a chief justice, and he or she is in charge of all of the judicial system in the state. And it's actually separate and apart from the other departments, and so, because it's an independent branch of government, and obviously the system is too big. So he, in this case she, right now has to delegate a lot of that authority down to the one judge in the county for all the supervision of the courts. And so that's what I do as presiding judge. It's supervisory. I make sure everyone's following the rules. I do a lot of hiring and setting policies within the discretion I have. So it's really the short answer. It's the delegation of the authority of the Chief Justice down to a judge in the county, in this case myself, to be her representative here, her administrative position here, and to exercise that authority here in the county. Because she just can't do it. The state's too big. So that's what I do.
I don't know if you remember, but back in April, I was on a tour with Juan Pablo, and we visited you in your office, and you had this big old book open. What is that book?
I had a big old book open?
Yeah, I think it was...
Were you the one asking questions? A big old book open?
Yeah.
It was probably a rule book about the rules you have to follow for all these different kind of cases. That's the one that I look at the most. So we have specific rules that apply to juvenile cases, criminal cases, civil cases. Those are rules that are promulgated by the Supreme Court and or the Arizona legislature that we have to follow. So that's probably what I had open.
Do you memorize most of the laws and stuff like that?
No.
No.
That's an age-related 69-year-old thing. No, I mean, after a certain number of years, you just become very familiar with certain rules that commonly come up. But no, I don't have to memorize them. Of course, now everything that's in the book is online. Yeah, tap notice also. So, yeah.
So what are some steps to be a judge, and like what did it take?
Got to be a lawyer. So first you have to go to obviously get an undergraduate degree. The great thing about law school is you can have an undergraduate degree in just about anything, really anything. You can be an art history major, an art major, English major, get an undergraduate degree, go to a law school, an accredited law school, graduate law school, be a member of the state bar, pass a whole other set of exams, bar exams. I did that in Illinois and in Arizona. And then in the smaller counties, other than Maricopa, Phoenix, Tucson, Pima County, and Pinal County, I think, in the smaller counties you have to run for election, and it's a contested election. In the bigger counties it's not. So you actually have to run for election, and I had to do that 3 times in contested elections. And so you have to be elected, get elected to a 4-year term. There's some residency requirements. You have to live here a certain number of years and be a lawyer for a certain number of years. But those are the basic qualifications.
What is the common case you see?
What does that mean that he didn't ring the bell right now? You rang the bell. We're ringing the bell together.
Oh no, we don't have to. It's to see who gets the bell first, and then from there we get to ask the question.
Okay.
I couldn't think of a question.
Okay.
So since I ring the bell like that's my turn, and then I get 1 point for that.
Okay.
What's the common case that you see here in Nogales?
Well, of course, we see a lot of domestic cases, which are family law cases, divorce, child support cases, child custody cases. Those are probably the largest number of filings we have. We have a large number of criminal cases, but not as many as family law cases, probably 300 some a year. Juvenile cases, I do all the juvenile cases. Civil cases, which are cases where people have private disputes over money. So it's a very balanced, kind of caseload. Guardianships, we have a lot of adults who need a guardian because they've elderly and they have Alzheimer's or dementia. Guardians of kids because the parents just aren't able to do it. Really, probably our toughest kind of cases, as I think the judges would agree, are what we call dependency cases. These are cases where the Department of Child Safety gets involved. Kids are subject to abuse and neglect in the home, so they have the authority to go into the home, remove the kids from the home, from their parents, and they become wards of the court. Like we become legally their parent and put them in foster care, give them. So they're bad. I mean, they're tough because kids are being abused or neglected, and over time those cases become much more serious. It's not just kids having head lice in school anymore. It's much more serious stuff. Usually because parents are involved in serious drug use. So we get a lot of those cases, not number-wise, but when we get them, they're very difficult and resource-intensive and hard to deal with. So it's a whole range of cases, which makes it really interesting. Going over the 30 seconds, but in the larger counties, they have so many judges that they'll have judges who just do one kind of case, like dependency cases and criminal cases, and they do them for 3 or 4 year rotations. Here, we tend to blend our caseloads among the 3 judges we have because we just don't have enough judges. But we rotate things around. But those are the most common cases.
Okay. How would you compare crime rates from here in the Santa Cruz County to other places that you've become an attorney, like in Michigan?
That's a really good question. I think the crime rate and the type of crime we have here is it's a very safe community. We have so much law enforcement here, which is probably why you got so many speeding tickets.
Oh, it was one.
Okay, well, all right. So, because you have our local law enforcement, the Nogales Police, the Sheriff's Department, you have Border Patrol. We have so much law enforcement around here, the presence, that I think it's a much lower crime rate. Santa Cruz County has no gangs. We have no gang activity here. Years ago, there used to be gang activity, but that's pretty incredible. So crime is much lower here. I think people are much safer here than they are. At the same time, the crime that we've had, I think there's been a lot more violent crime. We went many, many years without any kind of homicide, but we've had a lot more very violent crime than we've had in the past. And then, of course, we're at the border. So there's a lot of crime associated with the border. There's federal U.S. authority and jurisdiction over the border also, so they take a lot of that. But you see like a lot of car thefts, people taking stolen cars or being hired to take stolen cars south from the United States into Mexico. So I would say it's a very safe place to live. I feel very safe here. I think people should feel safe. We've got good law enforcement, a lot of it. It's a small county, so they're very responsive. But it is a border town and a border community. And because of guns and drugs, I think we're seeing a lot more serious violent crime, unfortunately. We regularly have 2 homicides or so on average a year. And we went years without any kind of homicides. So, it's kind of a mixed bag. Do you feel safe here?
Yeah, I do. It's funny, I feel safer here than I do in Tucson or Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more likely to get hurt or in danger in Phoenix and Tucson than I am here, closer to the border.
Right. Do you go back and forth across the border?
Question, Sam lost his turn because he rang the bell while you were talking.
But he asked a question.
But he was answering.
I'm off duty, okay? I am not judging. I'm not making decisions on it.
Okay, I'll give this one to Sam. I'll give it to Sam.
I wish people at court were more like you. That's right. It's a good way to be.
So what are some other challenges you face?
Well, we have really great employees, keeping employees here because of, the pay structure. It's a county, government always pays less, and keeping good employees who find better opportunities to be paid. So we have we have kind of regular turnover. We lose good people who want to stay, but it's just for the money. It's interesting. We're losing a lot of employees now who are parents of kids of school age because childcare is just not available, and what is available is very expensive, and they rely a lot on family members, and they just can't. It's like more expensive for them to pay childcare than what they earn in working. So, and that's too bad because they're good employees, and they have good health insurance when they come here. So that's a constant kind of source of difficulty is retaining good employees. Now the mine has moved in Patagonia, and they're taking a lot of employees also, more so from the county at large than from us. But it's hard because you get good people in here. Our court is a really great place to work. People are happy generally, and they want to stay, and they don't see a financial future. And of course, everything is very expensive.
Yeah.
So I wish we could provide childcare for young parents who have young children who want to keep working, want the health insurance, want to stay here. So that's probably the immediate challenge that we're facing. It's tough.
What was the most intimidating experience you had in your career?
Well, anyone who watches this probably knows there was a trial a couple years ago, I think at this point now, called State versus Kelly. The gentleman was accused of shooting and killing an unarmed immigrant who passed across his property in southern, down by Springs, that area by the border. And it was at the time, immigration was a huge issue, so it pushed that hot button. Self-defense, guns, push that button. An illegal immigrant crossing, hit that button. It just hit all the hot buttons for a criminal case, and it got national attention and actually some international attention. It was covered every day by the media, the whole trial, which had a lot of cameras in the courtroom because that's important to do. And so that was a very difficult experience. I had a lot of experience, but even with the experience I had, I never had to do a case that had that much media attention and social media attention, and there were podcasts, social media sites about it, and people commenting live, and and then you had people on both sides of the issue. People who were more pro-immigration, and people who were anti-immigration, pro-guns, anti-guns. So they're just very strong emotions and strong beliefs on both sides, and understandably, and that's okay. But when you're the person in the center of it, making decisions, and with that kind of intensive media attention to it, it was very stressful.
Entering a courtroom is very intimidating. What kind of environment do you sit in your courtroom?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So it is very intimidating. I can see on the bench people come in there. I mean, I would be intimidated, as well if I were in somebody else's courtroom. So you can see it in their faces. So the first thing I do, and we have a lot of people who represent themselves. They don't afford lawyers, can't afford lawyers, so they're even more intimidated by the process. So what I always do in those situations, and I did it again just this morning, and I say, all right, please try to relax. Yeah, I know your court is intimidating. I'm talking to the people who were there. Please try to relax. I understand you're nervous, intimidating. It's understandable. We're going to make this as easy as possible for you as we can. and I'm going to try and make this as simple and easy and understandable a process as I can. If I ever ask you something, if you don't understand me, that's okay. I want you to let me know so I can ask a better question. And I guarantee you, when you walk out of the courtroom and it's all over, you're going to say, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I was really so nervous for nothing. I guarantee you're going to feel that way. And sometimes they just still say, but a lot of times you can see, you can just see them just kind of body and they just kind of relax and they go, thank you so much. And so I try to head that off before it happens, because I understand, and it is difficult, particularly if you're representing yourself because you can't afford a lawyer, and you're supposed to be the lawyer really. So I just address it that way, and you can see people, their body language is relaxing, and then again you do that, you follow through, you make it, I've learned to just really break things down for people, and try to make it as simple as a process as it can, using, try to stay away from all the legal language, all the Latin jargon, the legal jargon, just use words that they can understand. We have a lot of people who use interpreters, we have certified interpreters. I do speak Spanish, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I speak Spanish. So I've learned to use, but I have to speak in English. I can't speak in Spanish or interpret for myself. So I've learned to use words in English that are easily translatable in Spanish. And so, that's about the best you can do, I think.
Just give them that reassurance that it's going to be okay. Just don't
relax.
relax.
I'm the judge. I'm going to try to make this easy for you. Okay,
Yeah.
I acknowledge you're nervous. It's understandable, and I'm telling you, I'm going to try to do this. And if you can't understand me, let me know.
Yeah.
And we'll do it. We'll do it some other way.
Our last question: what's some advice that you'd like to share with the public?
So we have a important office in the court that we created several years ago. It's called Office of Self-Represented People. I told you a lot of people cannot afford lawyers. Divorce case, you're dealing with important stuff. If you're like going to divorce, your custody of your children, physical, legal custody, your stuff, your property, criminal case, you're talking about your freedom. But we have an office. You walk right in through the front door, and we created acknowledging that a lot of people just cannot afford a lawyer. And there's two women there who are especially trained to help those people. They're not lawyers, they can't give legal advice. They can come in, we don't charge anything for it, make an appointment, and they will walk them through the steps that they need to do to be appointed as a guardian for their kids, to try to get a divorce, to enforce child support, whatever it is. The two full-time people that are paid for by the county, free of charge, they have helped thousands of people. No one should be disadvantaged in a courtroom if we can help it because they cannot afford a lawyer. Lawyers are expensive. We don't have a lot of them around here in the county. So we try to make them have access to what they need to know, need to do to help themselves enforce their legal rights. It's just too important. You're talking about your kids, you're talking about money, garnishing your wages, losing your property, losing your home, or losing your, anything like that. We have people here to help you. And you can, as a judge, I know it was like before and after these people, and now that they're there helping people, it really makes a huge difference. So come into court, come into the front door through security there, right smack there, with a window, and tell them your problem, set up an appointment, and let them come in and help you.
Okay, thank you. And to conclude our kind of serious questions, I do have some funny questions to ask you, if you don't mind. If your gavel could talk, what would it say?
It would say, don't hit me so hard. They don't make gavels like they used to. They used to be really solid.
What's your courtroom theme song?
Probably something from Bad Bunny or something like that.
Oh, you like Bad Bunny?
No, I can't. I don't even know Bad Bunny. It just popped into my head.
Oh.
But Bad Bunny would not be appropriate in the courtroom. No?
No. Like a Law and Order theme song, like kind of like that?
No, I think actually I thought about that because we have this white noise machine. I thought about substituting something for the music, but no, I think really it would be something to kind of, per your questions earlier, kind of put people at ease,
yeah.
But not like dentist office music, or a hold music that puts you on hold, but something that's kind of a little uplifting, but kind of puts you at ease and relaxes you and kind of helps you ready to do it.
I also had
no bad Bunny.
No Bad Bunny.
I had a serious question. Sorry.
It's okay.
It was like, since you're a former lawyer, is that correct? And now a presiding judge, you get used to like hearing all these cases, even if they're disturbing.
Yeah. Are you immune to disturbing cases?
Mm-hmm.
I am. These are the only eyes I ever have seen through, so I can't speak for others. But I am. Everyone's got other sensitivities, but I think it's like not as bad as like working in an emergency room of a hospital. I mean, what do those people do? You have to do your job. They see horrible things. Some of these dependency cases that I mentioned, I mean, children are being abused and neglected. That's hard. And I think it's not so much, I don't feel so much like I can't look at that. I've seen very gruesome crime scene photos and things like that, and really tough things to look at, tough things to hear, including sexual abuse of children. I don't have a problem so much handling that, but I just get angry. You get very, very angry. And if you see parents abusing and neglecting their children in ways that I wouldn't even talk about in something like this, you just get very angry. But you can't. As a judge, you have to sublimate that. Because you have to make decisions based on what the facts are and what the law is in as fair a way as you can. But I mean, you can get pretty mad. Here's some of this stuff. And in criminal cases too. So for me, it's not like so much a repulsion thing. I can't hear that or look at that.
But it does ignite emotion where it's hard to believe that those things happen.
Yeah, like, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Because what do the kids deserve to be put through that?
Right, and you see that in family law cases, which is I don't do those cases. As presiding judge, I can assign cases to different judges. I did them for like 4 or 5 years, and I was getting just too angry. I was getting too frustrated. People weaponizing their children in a divorce, using their children as weapons and pawns in divorce, without regard to the effect on the children. I was just getting that just got to me. I was angry. I wanted to just.
Yeah, but that type of emotion, would you bring it back home?
No, I don't bring it home. I get home and home's a happy place. And my dogs are outside. Dogs are always happy to see you. Even if your spouse isn't. And so no, you have to balance. It's life balance. That's important. For you to keep in mind as you go forward, because I think for young people such as yourselves, the challenges are much greater, frankly, than they were for me. Growing up. I mean, school was inexpensive. I mean, I went to the University of Michigan out of state for tuition of $2,500 a year. First of all, I wouldn't even get into the school today. It's too competitive. My grades weren't good enough, but it was cheap. I delivered pizzas, and law school I thought was expensive at the time, but by today's still. And the jobs were plentiful, and we didn't have to worry about AI. You're gonna get all depressed now. We didn't have to worry about a lot of the things, the competitiveness for jobs. The jobs were real. So it's important, for you to keep those life balances. And I was also listening to a podcast this morning that was interesting, and it talked about how I'm saying this because I'm with you, and it talked about how the people who succeed the most are not the people who say, okay, I'm 18 years old, I want to do this, and so I'm just going to channel myself towards this goal of being whatever, a doctor or whatever. The people that studies have shown that it's okay to kind of bounce around, because you change. You're going to change a lot over the years. Your interests are going to change. In other words, exposure to different things, and to kind of move around and expose yourself to different experiences, different types of work. So it's you face a very challenging future.
Yeah, so many curves to the road and all that stuff.
Who knows? Who knows what AI is going to bring? But you're just going to have to you just prepare yourself as best you can.
Yeah.
And trust me, doors open. I mean, people said, how did I end up here? How did I end up here in Dallas? I kind of told you, but I think I had a plan in life at one point in time, but I didn't expect it to end up this way.
Yeah.
But it worked out because good people, smart people who prepare yourself well. I'm sure you will, because you've been chosen to do this, and among other reasons. But doors open, just walk through them.
Yes.
Another thing that people are talking about in this podcast with this survey is that people fail all the time who are really successful, and that's okay. Like guess what the average age is if you look at the tech people who really scored, really blew it out of the water and started fantastic businesses and were really successful. Those kind of really successful tech entrepreneurs. Guess what the age was when they achieved that success?
21.
25, 30?
45.
45.
I know, I was shocked to hear that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that.
Did they explain why it took them that long to reach success? Or?
Because of what they did. What I just said is they tried a lot of things and had some success and some failures, and learned from those mistakes. Okay, they just didn't, it took them a while, in other words, to find their footing of what they really wanted to do and were good at and enjoyed it and enjoyed doing. So yeah, I was shocked at that too at 45. So it's a process to get where you want to be.
That's the number one piece of advice I hear within the office. If an opportunity opens, go for it. If you can get a good job very young, you're set for life. Or a good experience and work with that, you're set.
But everything's gonna, the world is not as static as it used to be. If they graph out like change, you start from like 1500 or something. There's like before the Industrial Revolution, there was no change. I mean, nothing ever changed. Just nothing changed, and no one expected anything to change because nothing had changed. And then there's the Industrial Revolution, so the graph goes like this, over time, and then the microchip comes into existence, and then the graph just goes like this. So the rate of change is increased substantially and now with AI. So everything's just going to keep changing really radically. So just. I think if people ask me for advice, what do you do about law school? What should I do? I'm like, you're talking to the wrong guy because the world is a different place when I was your age. So I have no advice to offer you other than, things are going to change and that's just the way it is, and be flexible and don't be afraid to try new things. I took some jobs and it didn't work out and moved, and don't be afraid to move, and to walk through those doors when they open up. Even if it's not the door you thought you were going to go through. I mean, these were not the doors I thought I was going to walk through. Even if it's not the door you thought you wanted to walk through, do what you want to do. But another one opens, do it, and you'll end up, I think, finding out it was probably better than what you thought you were going to do.
Yeah. Great advice. Thank you for not only giving us that advice, but also the viewers that advice.
Yeah.
I do have one last silly question just to clear it, to end it. You grew up in Chicago. Are you a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan?
I grew up on the north side of Chicago, so I'm a Cubs fan because we could take our bikes down to the train station. It's called the L in Chicago. Pay like 50 cents, get on the train, go to Wrigley Field. It was like a 30-minute train ride. Drops you off right there in the corner of Wrigley Field in Addison, and you could go to a Cub game back then for $1 and 70 liters. Well, you know about the Cub?
Yeah, well, I know about baseball, so...
Yeah, you could spend it down there. You could go by yourselves. Whereas the White Sox were all the way on the other part of the city, all the way on the south side. It was very hard to get to.
The scary side?
I don't want to say that. But it was very safe. Wrigley Field was very safe. And they were all day games, too.
Yeah.
So the White Sox had night games. And at that time, they were all day games, so, yeah. Right. You know what I do then? I love going to the high school sports games.
To Nogales or Rico?
Well, I more Nogales because the stadium's right here, and I can get off of work and I run down there and watch the games. Then I just enjoy that even more than watching a professional game. I mean, it's local. The kids are really good.
Yeah.
I like to watch more like women's, girls stuff, fast pitch softball. That's really exciting to watch. And I've gone many times up to watch them play. Nogales boys play in the playoffs and the finals. I almost got kicked out of the stadium once.
For yelling too much?
Yeah, the umpiring is terrible. It's terrible. And when I first started going, people were like, they're almost a prejudice against Nogales. And I'm like, come on, but they are, they really. So I was yelling, and I had to go all the way to the top of the stadium.
Oh, wow.
But so I like watching high school sports, and Rio Rico sports is up and coming.
Yeah, our baseball team is grown in talent, and I feel like they'll be very successul in the future. Yeah,
you got great facilities there now, much better facilities. It's nice. I haven't been up there yet. I heard the pool was great.
The pool is really cool.
Yeah,
you should definitely take a look.
Yeah, it's all the way on the other side of the mountain. But so go there. You can walk in. It's no cost, free, and you see all the people and all the people who watch the games are very knowledgeable about baseball. And I learned the local phrase, from going to the football games. Some poor kid from one of our teams who just gets splattered. It's like those cartoons you used to watch on Saturday, and some mother would go, I know, as I know means I know,
Here we go,
yeah. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
It's nice. I'm going to be hearing. Gotta get these bells out of my head.
Sorry about that.
Watch your speed.
Yes.
I was too slow.
Huh?
I was too slow.
You're driving too slow?
Yeah.
Get a ticket. Yeah, that could get a ticket for that.
Yeah, if you disrupt the flow of traffic, correct?
Right. Dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any tickets?
No, thank God. I did get pulled over though once, but because I had my sister in the back seat and she had her body out of the window. Like, how a dog goes outside the window?
Yeah.
That's how she was. And I got pulled over for that.
How old was she?
9?
Was she not wearing her? Did she take her seatbelt off?
She took it off, yeah. And I was with my dad in the passenger seat. We were on our way back from softball practice. They asked me for my permit. I didn't have it. So I just got it off with a warning.
Oh, yeah.
I was really lucky. Well, my dad was lucky. He didn't get a ticket.
She got off, but you didn't. What do you think that is?
Because I used my sister as a way to get out. She cried, please don't take my dad and my sister to jail. And then they're like, I'm going to give him a ticket.
Don't take my sister to jail.
Yeah.
I talked less than the clerk of the court, didn't I? Juan Pablo Guzman.
Juan Pablo.
Yeah. Just tell me I talk less than him because he's,
truthfully, about the same.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Fair enough.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
For joining us and for taking time out of your day
My
and
pleasure.
being with us. Make sure you see our episode.
I have a question.
Oh yeah. If you have a question,
You almost forgot again.
Oh no, I just
Yeah.
want to know.
All right, go.
What was the bell? What was my bell for?
If you want to ask us a question, either Sam.
Well, I've already asked you questions. Yeah, so that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. You don't got one more? Okay. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on another episode of Gov 101.